Okay, here's my flap handle. Now I've taken, this is the end here, this is the bell crank portion that the flap cable hooks into, the little jig that I made for it. This is the pivot tube, the original pivot tube on the airplane, off the airframe, and it's chrome plated. It was too short for this, so I had to make a new one. What I'm doing, I'm using it for a guide for this, and I'm taking a little bit of aluminum foil and wrapping it around it, which will tighten these up because it's a little bit loose on here, but you know, maybe that's not going to work. I was hoping that would work for a heat sink a little bit, tighten that up, and to keep that any over weld from sticking to the, but I can see that's not going to work. So anyway, this is the piece here, the little plug piece extension that extends that out, and then here's the handle portion here that goes on there, and now that lays down flat on the table, and it's like that, and then this jig holds it in the right geometry. So that's it. I'll go ahead and put a couple of spots on this section here, and then I'll spot this one here, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, I got it all done, and it's not too bad. Had some pretty good gaps, and this one piece right here, and of course the holes to fill, because that was drilled for a cotter pin to go through there, but I'm not too unhappy with that. I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and grind those down, and I'm going to cut a couple little strips and weld longitudinally on there to add a little bit of torsional strength on that. I'll take that apart and see how much protrusion there is in there. I'll go stick it out in the snowbank there and cool it off a little bit, I guess. And I'll have to get a flashlight to look down in there, but I don't see any weld through on it. Looks pretty good. There's weld through here on this portion that where this was welded on previously, and here on this piece where it was welded on, but I don't see any weld through down there. I'll have to get a flashlight to inspect it a little closer, but looks pretty good to me. Yeah, I don't see any weld through on there. A little bit here where I had a pretty good gap in there and used a little bit of filler, but just barely. Here's the new pivot tube. Oh yeah, that slides in there just perfect. Oh yeah, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. That's perfect. Okay. Well, cool. That headache is no longer a headache. I was pretty happy with that weld, and I think they turned out pretty good. It seems like it's plenty strong enough, but just to make sure, I'm going to weld a couple little straps on it in longitudinal direction here, and that should strengthen that up a lot more. So I went down and I ground the beads off on that a little bit, and I've cut a little piece. This is just mild steel, and this is just some of that stuff that I was practicing on. One of the pieces I had left over on that. I'll make some couple thin strips there and just weld onto it just to double that up a little bit. Okay, I think that does it. I took the two pieces, two little strips of I think that's 3/32, and just run them across where that patch went in there, that plug went in there, and welded it on there. I didn't use any filler rod or anything. I just welded it in there, and it's 1 4 1/2 there. So that should do it. It should be plenty strong enough. It's going to be pretty good. It's going to work. We'll go see if it. Make sure it fits here in the airplane. It still fits real nice between the bushing on the side of the airplane and one in the seat. So that's going to be just about perfect. Well, since I got the flap handle all welded up, I'm kind of in the mood, in the zone, whatever. I'll weld this up. This is going to be a new filler neck for the belly tank. I've cut the old gas tank fitting off of here. This is where the gas cap fits on there, and I've cut that off the old one. I welded on the new one. This has a little bit of galvanizing on it, I think. Anyway, I took it down and wire brushed it all off and everything. So you say it's got some pretty good gaps in it I have to fill. So I turned my amperage up a little bit and use the same 16th inch tungsten, and I'll probably wind up using 3/32 filler rod for this one. I got some pretty good gap to fill. I tried filling that with some welding rod, and I may do that. I may take some of this 16th inch welding rod and put down in there in the gap to fill that, but as long as I'm in the zone, might as well get that done too. Okay, there's my flap handle welded up. I took it down and wire brushed it, cleaned it up a little bit, and it doesn't look so bad. There's my filler neck. I still got to sandblast it or clean it up and powder coat it, and both of them still need to be powder coated and a little cleanup on them, but otherwise their welding is done on those. Here's the flap handle all installed here. It's not permanently installed, it's just in there dry fit, but oh, here's how it goes. Now it's in here like this, and I got just maybe a 1/16 of an inch of play in that flap handle going back and forth there. So that's pretty good. It goes up and down without interfering in the side panel over there, and that's what happened before by putting that 2-inch piece over here on this side. That put that handle right over here into the structure of the airplane over here and then into the side panel. Well, I suppose the person could have heated this handle up and straightened out that bend in it, but this puts it just about like it was in the other airplane, or in the regular standard fuselage, so it'll work a lot better. And I didn't have to do anything to this seat to modify it either, or this ratchet. I didn't have to change that. I was all worried I was going to have to move that if I had changed it the other way.